What's up, everybody? It's your host, Danny, and I'm back with another podcast episode, man. Last week I had my boy Bobby, and it was a Champions League episode, man. We talked about the first leg and what do we think was going to happen in the second leg. What was the situations with the Italian teams? How far could they go in this tournament? And second leg just happened yesterday, and I'm here to recap. This Champions League. Knockout stages, I would say playoffs. I would say the playoffs stage of it. Atletico Madrid played on Tuesday. First leg was 3-3. Atletico came out and scored early. Alexander Slaughtered scored assist from the keeper. It was amazing. I wouldn't even call it a counter attack, but it was an assist from the goalie. So that's really rare. It was an assist from the goalie, rare. Alexander had great balance with the defender on his hip, got him off him, and hit an amazing shot. It could have been saved by the keeper, but it was an amazing goal. That was his first goal. He ended with a hat trick that game, man. The Norman Star ended with a hat trick, and I ain't gonna lie, he's been balling this year. I ain't gonna lie. I was kind of suspect about the lineups. I saw he didn't start Lookman. After Lookman been starting all these games for Atletico, he didn't start the must-win game. Maybe he was trying to play it safe, have him come in if it was to go to extra time. We don't know because it was 3-3 in the first leg, but he didn't start Lookman. So I was pretty surprised by that, but Coach Semenyo knows what he's doing, I suppose. But Club Bureau tied it up in 36 minutes with the header off the corner kick, headed it, tied up 1-1. And then the United States midfielder Johnny Cardoza had an amazing goal. It was an amazing strike by Johnny Cardoza to take them back to lead in the first few minutes of the second half. Atletico was getting the shots up. They had 12 shots, 5 on target. But it was a back and forth game for a point. It was a back and forth game, and then Alexander Sloth scored again. He just had an amazing goal, assist from Lookman that time. But I think it was a 2-on-1 that time. Lookman had the assist. So Lookman, another game when he comes in, he came in this time. He comes in with an assist. I wonder what his game to assist ratio since he joined. I really wonder what it is. It got to be. He has to have 6 of them so far. Then he scored another hat trick when he scored his last goal in 87 minutes, and they moved on. They advanced to the round of 16, Atletico Madrid, by winning 4-1, 7-4 in the aggregate. Why is it freezing? Probably going to play Tottenham or Liverpool. We'll go into that, who I think they should play later on. Newcastle advances 3-2. They were up big on the aggregate 6-1. They didn't play none of their first team guys this game. They started off the game early, scored 2 goals within 10 minutes. They scored a 4th and 6th minute. So making aggregate the 8-1 at that point. And the game was already over. I didn't even watch this game at all. They ended up winning this game 3-2, advancing on the 93 aggregate, making it all 6 teams of the Premier League advancing to the round of 16. So 6 out of the 16 teams are from English Premier League. Like, they got to win, bro. They got to win. They got to figure out a way to win. If they don't win out of 16, like you know how the percentage they got of winning? They had a 37% chance of winning, bro. They have a 37% chance of winning the Champions League. They got 16 teams left, and they got 6 of those teams. Which they probably could face each other, probably. We'll see. Duke got the bracket. I'm going to look at. Leverkusen and Olympianos, it was 0-0. Nothing. Leverkusen advanced 2-0. Inter and Bodo. Everybody thought Inter was going to make a remontada. They were down 1-3, I believe. And Inter started off well. I ain't gonna lie. I watched this. This is the game I watched. Inter started off well. The possession, they had possession mostly the whole game. I thought they were strike early. They were strike early in the first half. I thought they was going to easily come back. They had 33 shots to their 7, but only had 6 on target. While every time Bodo shot on target, they damn near It was five. They had 7 shots and 5 of them were on target. So both those shots were on target. In turns wasn't no Lautaro Martinez in this game. But man, they dominated the game. 70% of possession, 600 passes, 90% accuracy. I really thought they were gonna pull this off. Honestly, Bodo still came through with an amazing goal. The second goal was amazing. The second goal was amazing by Evjan. I think it was a mistake by what's the defender name? Akania, the Netherlands defender. He placed the ball in a poor spot, making it easy for Bodo to score. And when Bodo scored that game, we knew it was over because it was 1-4. They wasn't coming back from that deficit. And it sucks though because last year they were a finalist of the team. They had a great match with Barcelona last year. I believe it was like a 7-goal thriller. Now they're getting knocked out versus the Norwin team. Like, who? No one would have thought that. And that just questions Italian football, man. What's up with Italian football this year? But, yeah. Next day, it was Atalanta versus Tottenham. The first leg was 2-0 Tottenham. But it was the same thing. They pulled off the comeback. They pulled off the comeback, and Atalanta, just like in turn, they came out hard. They came out fast and strong, and Tottenham was just out of it. Tottenham looked like they were asleep the whole game. I knew when Atalanta scored in the 5th minute, that game, I was like, okay, they got a chance. Because it's only 2-0 deficit. 2-0 and they're at home. They had a chance. Then they scored the second one. They had like great opportunities. The Tottenham goalie had a couple saves. Yeah, they had 3 amazing goals, and then the penalty at the end, which was a bad. It was a bad defensive play, because I can see you could say 50-50 ball, but he cleated his whole face, leading him to get bloody and all that. And they had a penalty at the last kick of the game, and they made the penalty. But man, it was a great comeback from Atlanta. I'm trying to think. I watched the whole game. I just can't think of the goals. I'm trying to think of the goals, bro. But they were amazing. It was an amazing game, amazing goals. I'm really sick. I can't think about how the game went out. But yeah, I watched that whole game. Tottenham looks asleep. They blew a lot of opportunities. Both sides had a lot of opportunity, goal scoring opportunities. Uisari had missing a lot of goals in front of the net. But yeah, Tottenham ended up choking this game away, losing 4-3 in the aggregate after being up 2-0. Juventus versus Galatasaray. Man, Juventus striked early with a penalty. And then Lloyd Kelly got a red card, and they were down a man, but they still came through. McKinney had a header. The United Statesman, Weston McKinney, had a header to bring her back to aggregate 3-0. The aggregate was 5-2. 5-2 to start off. 5-2 Galatasaray. Then it ended up being 5-5 at a point after Weston McKinney. And then Victor Osimhen, we all know him, the Nigerian star, comes through with a goal. Amazing strike. Puts them back up in the aggregate. And then I believe Yamiz had a goal at the end of the end. So Juventus falls short. They had 24 shots, not on target. But I don't know, Galatasaray, man. That was a poor game from Galatasaray. They get to Juventus hasn't been good for a while, I would say, up to the par of the old Juventus. So for them to struggle with a Juventus team that was down to 10 guys in the start of the second half to allow 2 goals, that just can't happen, and you can't put up a goal. It's gonna be a rough outing for Galatasaray. I wonder who they play next. They could play Liverpool. I know they beat Liverpool earlier in the league stages, but we'll see. But I thought Galatasaray put their leg up. They could have easily just knocked them out easily, but they made it the game. Juventus came back. PSG versus Monaco. Oh man, Monaco sold, man. Monaco sold. They scored first again, strike up, had the lead. Last game they won 3-2, right? Yeah, 3-2 they won last game. PSG did. And then they allowed that red card, messed it up, man. The red card that led to a free kick, and the captain, Marquinhos, scored off that. Scored, I believe it was a tap. Was it a header or a tap in? I just know Desiree Dewey had the assist. It was a tap in. I remember Desiree Dewey had the assist. And then KK had an amazing goal. To bring them up. But, then they had a last-second opportunity to score in the 90th plus minute. Missed it by an inch. They could have tied it up. But, man, PSG looks really vulnerable this year, man. And they could be in a rough outing in the next games. They could play Chelsea or Barcelona. Two tough teams. They beat Barcelona earlier this year. And last time they played Chelsea, we know what happened in the Club World Cup finals. Chelsea dominated them. So it'll be quite interesting to see who they get matched up with tomorrow in a draw. Yeah. Real Madrid versus Benfica. And that was the game of the week. Everybody's been talking about it. Vinicius situation last week. I forgot his name. The racist guy, Pasmini. I don't know his name. Didn't play that game. He's suspended. Kylian Mbappe was a late scratch. Didn't play. He's out for about 2 weeks. Hopefully he can be back for the round of 16 game. But, Benfica strikes first after a mistake from Asensio. Asensio almost had an own goal, but, Courtois blocked it. But, it was a rebound back to Rafael Silva. And then 2 minutes later, Valverde had an amazing assist to Torres Tchouaméni, a beautiful strike from Torres Tchouaméni. His first goal this year, his first Champions League goal. And then our Gruler had almost had an opportunity to score him, but Garcia was offsides. It was a great game, though. Carreras played well. Torres Tchouaméni, Valverde, Vinicius Jr. scored. Vinicius Jr. had an amazing goal. One-on-one player versus Otamendi. I think his name Otamendi, another Argentinian. That one that was talking trash with him last week. That was showing him his goal, his trophies and stuff like that. He scored versus on him. Valverde with another assist. Vinicius Jr. danced along again, man. Vinicius Bala had a goal. And I think he's like his goal scoring is he just tied Robin from Bayern Munich and Netherlands, the legend. He tied up for the most goal scoring in the Champions League. But yeah, Real Madrid played an okay game. Could have been better. Asensio got hurt as well with a neck injury. Rudiger did amazing on the defensive side. Real Madrid got to be better though. They got to play better. If they want to go far in this Champions League, man. 2-1 game. Quite expected, but, my bad. Could have been better for sure from Real Madrid. The drawing is coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow morning is the drawings happening. And the bracket's already out of who could they play. Okay, so not Real Madrid. So PSG could be faced with Barcelona or Chelsea. Who I personally want to see. I personally do want to see the rematch, Chelsea versus PSG. Just because the style of play of Chelsea the way Chelsea plays in their style of play, I want to see what they could do. But Barcelona and PSG would be more interesting. I feel like for the fans, the past history they got in the Champions League. Desiree Dewey versus Lamine Yamal. But Chelsea and PSG, I would want that. I would say that. 6 versus 11. Then the winner of them will play. I don't know who would they play. Honestly, I don't know how the bracket will work, but it's like teams like Galatasaray versus Liverpool and Tottenham. I would say I'd rather have Galatasaray play Tottenham. Give Tottenham a little break. You know, Tottenham, they doing well in the Champions League. I don't know how they're doing well in the Champions League and trash in the Premier League. Tottenham versus Galatasaray will be good in my eyes. Real Madrid versus Sporting or Man City. I already know they're going to get matched up with Man City, so we might as well just see the Man City game happen. I'll be surprised tomorrow morning if I see Sporting gets matched up with Real Madrid. I just know it's going to be Man City versus Real Madrid, so Real Madrid got to be ready. Kylian Mbappe got to get ready. Rodrigo got to get ready with the injuries they both got. Atalanta versus Arsenal and Bayern Munich. I want to say Bayern Munich versus them. Bayern Munich versus Atlanta. Just the style of play of Bayern Munich. German league. We never see a lot of German league versus Italian league. So that would be quite interesting. That would be quite interesting matchup in my eyes. You know, the way that style played. Well, actually, who did we just did actually. I'm tripping. Atlanta just played Tottenham. I'm tripping. I don't know why I just said that. But Newcastle versus Barcelona, I want to see that again, a rematch. Barcelona beat them 2-1 the first time, but Newcastle's been hot so far, so we'll see what they can do versus that highline defense. With Anthony Gordon leading, Nick Wolfsman, Johan Wissa. So that'll be their forwards would be nice versus that Barcelona highline defense. Feel like it'll be easier for them to break. Newcastle could probably upset Barcelona. Atletico versus Liverpool. That'll be a rematch again from the league phases when Liverpool beat Atletico with the game-winning header, I believe, by Van Dijk. So that'll be a good rematch. This time Atletico has Lookman. They'll have Lookman this time, and Liverpool probably doesn't have Isaac again. Bodo versus Sporting. That'll be interesting. Right now Bodo's a Cinderella team. If we would have had a Cinderella team in the Champions League, they for sure are being 23rd place, beating who they beat already this year. They beat Atletico, Man City in turn twice. They're definitely the Cinderella team. So Denver Sporting, they could mess around and upset Sporting. Like, Bodo's has only been playing Champions League game. If you guys didn't know, their season ended already in November. So they just been playing friendly games and 2 Champions League. So that's crazy. Leverkusen versus Arsenal. I want to see that. I want to see Leverkusen versus Arsenal. I don't want to see Bayern Munich and Leverkusen. In my eyes, I don't want to see Bayern and Leverkusen. We already see them enough in the Bundesliga league, the German league. But yeah, Leverkusen versus Arsenal, that'll be a great game. You know, Leverkusen this year has just been a lot of, I wouldn't say free fall, but like the way they play the game is like, the way Leverkusen plays is like, they matched. I wouldn't say it matched up with Arsenal well, but it's like, I don't know. Just that Arsenal defense is like Arsenal's defense with Leverkusen's offense. It's like they don't really have a go-to guy on their offense except for Alexander Grammichno, but sometimes he's on the left back, left wing, and I don't even know who's their striker this year on Leverkusen. And who's leading their goals. Like, they don't have one collectible scorer. They have a group of scorers. I would say Leverkusen is more like a defensive team. Well, those are the teams I want to see in the bracket. It's going to be quite interesting, man. I don't know when the first game is. Probably this calendar. The 10th and 11th. So we won't talk about Champions League again until that Thursday. After the first week, but whatever the drawings got. Actually, no, we might have to talk about it next week for the draws because we don't know who the draws will be. We'll do a predict who will win those, but those will I think be playing. Shout out to those guys in the advanced. Now the real ball is happening around the 16. I can't wait. See the matches. I really can't wait. We see Man City versus Real again, Barcelona, Newcastle, Barcelona, PSG, Liverpool, Galatasaray, or Liverpool, Atleticomadrid. Shout out to Atalanta. They saved Series A. They saved them a lot by coming back. We could have had no Series A teams, man. Juventus lost and Inter lost, man. So shout out Atlanta making that comeback. Tottenham, we'll see how they do in the rest of the year in the German league. They're probably second right now. Yeah, second in the Bundesliga. Bundesliga. Man, I'm saying everything all wrong today, man. Oh, man. Oh, shoot, they play Bayern Munich this week. 1 versus 2. Oh, shit. That's going to be a good game. Even though I think Bayern's going to win. I might tune in a little bit. But, yeah. PSG. That's all for Champions League, though. I want to transition into college basketball. College basketball had a big games these past Saturdays. We had, at the time, 4 versus 2, Arizona versus Houston. I thought Houston was going to win. They ended up losing. It was a big game from Del Rosso. I think his name's Anthony Del Rosso. Big game for him. Off the bench, 22 points off the bench. Braden Burrows, the freshman, the highly talented freshman on Arizona, didn't have the best of games. He only had 7 points. He was battling the flu. Jaden Bradley just continued to be one of the best point guards in the country. Had a great game. 17. And didn't shoot the ball well, but he got to the line. Didn't turn the ball over. Ivan Karachovic has 16 and 9. Kingsley Fleming started off slow, and it was 17, but he did start off slow. They couldn't shoot the ball well. They only shot 31%. Both teams didn't shoot the ball well. I thought Houston defense was going to control it, but Arizona just made huge shots, tough shots, and they did that without Koa Pete. Arizona's showing that they're one of the best teams in this league for sure. I mean, the country for sure. Yeah, Houston 8 for 26, but they defended well. I would say they defended well, but losing a home game was pretty tough. Michigan versus Duke. I had Duke winning. I knew Duke was going to win. Yaxel Lemberg had a great first half. I would say he had a great first half. Morrison Johnson had a great half. Artie Mara, foul trouble, took him out the game for sure. Eddie Cadeau didn't have the best of game, but I wasn't surprised about that. Wasn't surprised at all. Dukes had played amazing defense, clogging up the paint and all that, forcing them to shoot. Michigan couldn't buy a shot. Couldn't buy a shot at all. Cameron Boozer had 18, 10, and 7. Amazing performance by him. Patrick Ngomba had 11 and 6. Caleb Foster had clutch plays down the end, 12 points. Isaiah Evans, 14. It was a great defensive game from Duke. Held Michigan to 63 points. If you guys know Michigan's been scoring about 90 points per game. So to hold them to 63 points, yeah, that was huge, man. Duke is the number 1 team now. And I think Michigan dropped to 3. And Arizona is 2. But that was a great game. March is coming up. That was a great test for March. 2 non-conference games, top 5 games, I should say. Match that everybody want to see, man. Houston versus Kansas was Monday. Kansas just doesn't lose, man. They just don't lose. And what's it called? On Mondays in the Allen Fieldhouse, they're 41-0 on big Mondays. Darian Pearson even had the best of the game. He only had 14 points. Trey White was a guy that came through. Kingston Flemings had another rough shooting night, 16 points only. Chris Klinick only 9. Emmanuel Sharp was 1 for 6, only 5 points. Houston lose 3 straight games. That's so odd of Houston and Kelvin Sampson's teams to lose 3 straight games. Kansas, it's funny because Kansas they just lost at home Saturday versus Cincinnati. Then they come and beat a top 5 team in Houston. And that was just great win for them. Louisville versus North Carolina played the other day. Great game for them. Great game for North Carolina. Steph Trumbull scored 30 points. Scored a big 30. Mikael Brown and Ryan both had at least 23, 24 points. But North Carolina made winning plays at the end. And we're still without Caleb Williams. BYU disappointed me, man. They had a big win versus Iowa State Saturday just to lose versus UCF. UCF is a solid team, though, but just to get blown out the gym the first half versus versus UCF. AJ DeBonta had 29, but still disappointing that they lost that game. Still disappointed because I'm huge on BYU, but yesterday, Arkansas won yesterday versus Texas A&M. Huge game from Malik Ewing. Darius didn't have the best of game. He had 22, but it wasn't the best of his game. Billy Richmond, 23. Trevor Brazile. This Arkansas team is really good. I like this Arkansas team, but it's just up to the bigs, bro. If the bigs don't play well, then Arkansas does not win. They got a huge test on Saturday night versus defending champs, and the defending champs Florida Gators have three guys on the front court. So Malik Ewing, Trevor Brazile, and Nick Pringles, they got to be ready. I feel like Arkansas guards are better than Florida's guards. Boogie Fann's gonna be his first time playing versus Arkansas. I wish it was a home game, so it would have been harder for him. But they at home. But I feel like Darius Acuff, the way he's been playing, he's gonna show out. Billy Richmond has been playing amazing. 4 straight games with 20+ points. Malik Thomas is a scorer. So I'm confident with those 3 guys going against Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan and the guys on their bench. It's going to be an interesting game on Saturday night, Arkansas versus Florida. UConn and Duke played yesterday. No, my bad. UConn and St. John's played yesterday, and I was so surprised. St. John's got they got smacked, man. They missed 25 straight shots, I believe. They went on a 16-0 run, I believe. They lost by 32 points. And that's the second time they played this year, and it's a 1-1 split. But I did not see this coming, man. I did not see this coming. No one did, honestly. UConn winning. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. But it happens. It happens in college basketball. Big game today, Michigan State versus Purdue, man. Must win in my eyes as a Michigan State fan. We don't win in West Lafayette in the Mackey Arena. We don't win there. We beat them last year at Michigan State. And Purdue always finds ways to beat us. I remember they had Zach Edey. I don't think Zach Edey lost to us, in my opinion. But it's a must-win game for Michigan State. Michigan versus Illinois. It's a must-win for Illinois to at least have a share of the title tomorrow versus Michigan. If they win, they can at least have a share. If Michigan wins that game, I think Michigan has the outright championship. But hopefully Illinois wins it. I got Illinois winning that. The international players, they got a lot of guys deep in their side. And it's a home game. Can't lose these type of home games. Key to success is just the force of, make it hard on Michigan. You're seeing Duke. Duke forced them outside shots, take away everything inside. They took everything away inside. Illinois got the depth to do that. They're huge with the length and height. But Michigan just they've been finding ways to win games this year. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'll be watching that. It'll be my second time watching the Michigan game. But I'll be watching that Illinois versus Michigan game tomorrow night. But I'm gonna be tuned in for sure. Wait, am I? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if I'm tuned in really. But yeah, Michigan wins this, the fans gonna go crazy. I remember last year Michigan State won the Big Ten regular season. They said it didn't matter. So, this year Michigan fans gonna say it matters when they win. Saturday's big games: Virginia versus Duke, 11 versus 1, 14 versus 2, Kansas versus Arizona. Ooh, wonder if Darian Peterson is playing this one. He didn't play last time, and the Arizona still lost. But that was at Kansas on Monday. Alabama versus Tennessee. That's going to be a tough one. Need Tennessee to win just for the things for the SEC standings. Like I said, Arkansas and Florida. It's going to be a good game. BYU and St. Mary's. Not BYU. Gonzaga and St. Mary's is going to be a good game. And then Sunday, Purdue and Ohio State. Must win for Ohio State if they want to still have a chance at the bubble. Michigan State versus Indiana. Must win for Michigan State just for seeding purposes. Michigan State shouldn't lose any more games this the rest of the year versus non-ranked teams. In my opinion, they should have won they shouldn't lose any games versus a non-ranked team. I don't care if it's a road game or not. But that's really all I got, man. Champions League was amazing. Man, I'm a bit tired today, man. That's why my words been splurged. But I had to drop even if it's 30 minutes or not. But, man, shout out to, like I said, shout out to Atlanta for making that comeback, man. Last second goal from the penalty was amazing. It's going to be interesting, chat. I can't wait. I can't wait for the knockout stage with the playoffs to, damn, see, I'm so tired. I keep saying the same thing. The round of 16 will begin. I can't wait for that. The drawings tomorrow morning. Hopefully, it's the games I want. We know we're going to see Real Madrid versus Man City. Everybody keeps saying that, though. Everybody keeps saying they know we're going to see it. You wait for Mike to stop milking it and just give us Sporting. If they give us Sporting, that's going to be a huge plus for us. For Real Madrid, it's going to be huge for them. But any other matchups I've been seeing, these standings, it's go time, man. It's go time. It's go time, man. Like, share, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, and we are out.